Once there were 5 little puppies who dug a hole under the fence and went for a walk in the big, wide world. Through the field they went, along the road, across the bridge, over a patch of green grass, and up the hill, one behind the other. When they got to the top of the hill, they stopped and counted themselves.
Oh!
1,
Oh! Oh!
2,
Oh!
3,
Oh! Oh!
4. Oh, one little puppy was missing.
Now just where has that poky little puppy got to?
They wondered, for they could see he wasn't on top of the hill with them. They looked down one side of the hill, and the only thing they could see was a big black spider going down. Nor was he coming up the other side, because all they could see was a darting green lizard coming up. When they looked down at the patch of green grass near the bottom of the hill, there he was running round and round, sniffing at the ground with his nose.
What can he be doing?
The 4 little puppies asked one another. So down they went to see. Head over heels, bumble-jumble, helter-skelter, till they came to the patch of green grass.
Whatever do you think you're up to?
The 4 little puppies asked.
I can smell something,
said the poky little puppy. So the 4 little puppies began to sniff around, and sure enough, they smelled something too.
Bread pudding,
they said, and home they went as fast as their little legs would take them. Across the bridge, along the road, through the field and under the fence. Sure enough, there was dinner waiting for them, and bread pudding to finish with. Their mother was very angry with them. So you're the little puppies who dig holes under fences, she said. Very well, then. No bread pudding tonight. And she made them go straight off to bed. That poky little puppy, he came home after everyone was sound asleep, and he ate up all the bread pudding and crawled into bed as happy as could be. By the next morning, the hole had been filled in, and a sign had been put up. The sign said, "No one allowed to dig holes under this fence." But you're right. The 5 little puppies took no notice of the sign and dug a hole under the fence again and went for a walk in the big, wide world. Through the field they went, along the road, across the bridge, over a patch of green grass and up the hill, one behind the other. When they got to the top of the hill, they stopped and counted themselves.
Oh! Oh!
1,
Oh!
2,
Oh! Oh!
3,
Oh! Oh!
4. Oh dear, one little puppy was missing.
Now just where has that poky little puppy got to?
They wondered, for they could see he wasn't on top of the hill with them. They looked down one side of the hill, and the only thing they could see was a fuzzy caterpillar going down. Nor was he coming up the other side, because all they could see was a slippery green grass snake coming up. When they looked down at the patch of green grass near the bottom of the hill, there he was, that poky little puppy sitting as still as a statue, with his head on one side and his ears sticking straight up.
What can he be doing?
The 4 little puppies asked one another. So down they went to see, head over heels, bumble-jumble, helter-skelter, till they came to the patch of green grass.
Whatever do you think you're up to?
The 4 little puppies asked.
I can hear something,
said the poky little puppy. So the 4 little puppies listened, and sure enough, they could hear something too.
Orange custard,
they cried.
Someone is pouring it into our bowls.
And home they went as fast as their little legs would take them, across the bridge, along the road, through the field and under the fence. When they got home, there was dinner waiting for them, and orange custard to finish with. Their mother was very angry with them. So you're the little puppies who will dig holes under fences, she said. Very well then, no orange custard tonight. And she made them go straight off to bed. That poky little puppy, he came home after everyone else was sound asleep, and he ate up all the orange custard and crawled into bed as happy as could be. By the next morning, the hole had been filled in, and another sign had been put up. This sign said, "No one at all allowed to dig holes under this fence." But you're right. The 5 little puppies took no notice of the sign and dug a hole under the fence and went for a walk in the big wide world. Through the field they went, along the road, across the bridge, over a patch of green grass and up the hill, one behind the other. When they got to the top of the hill, they stopped and counted themselves.
Oh!
1,
Oh! Oh!
2,
Oh!
3,
Oh! Oh!
4. Oh, no. One little puppy was missing again.
Now just where has that poky little puppy got to?
They wondered, for they could see he wasn't on top of the hill with them. They looked down one side of the hill, and the only thing they could see was a big grasshopper hopping down. Nor was he coming up the other side, because all they could see was a round fat frog coming up. When they looked down at the patch of green grass near the bottom of the hill, there he was, looking very hard at something on the grass in front of him.
What can he be doing?
The 4 little puppies asked one another. So down they went, head over heels, bumble-jumble, helter-skelter, till they came to the patch of green grass.
Whatever do you think you're up to?
The 4 little puppies asked.
I can see something,
said the poky little puppy. So the 4 little puppies looked, and sure enough, they could see something too. A juicy red strawberry growing in the grass.
Strawberry pie,
they cried. And home they went as fast as their legs would carry them, across the bridge, along the road, through the field and under the fence. Sure enough, there was dinner waiting for them and strawberry pie to finish with. But their mother said, "All right, I know you're the little puppies who dug that hole under the fence again. Well, because you were naughty, there'll be no strawberry pie for dinner tonight." And she sent them straight off to bed. This time, the 4 little puppies waited until they thought she was asleep. Then quietly they crawled out and filled up the hole. When they had finished, they turned round, and there was their mother right behind them. "Oh, you are good little puppies," she said. "Now you can have some strawberry pie." When the poky little puppy got home, he had to find another hole through the fence. And there he saw his 4 brothers and sisters eating the last of the strawberry pie from their bowls. "Goodness gracious," said his mother. "What a shame you're so poky. The strawberry pie's all finished." That poor little poky puppy had to go off to bed without a single crumb of pie, and he really felt very sorry for himself. The next morning, a new sign had been put up over the fence, and this one said, "No puddings for any puppies who ever dig holes under this fence again." And do you know, those 5 little puppies never dug holes under the fence again. Once there was a little black colt who lived in a big green meadow with his mother. There were other colts living in the same meadow as well, and they all had fun galloping and romping around together. One day when their playing became very rough, with biting and kicking, the little black colt's mother whinnied to him. She said, "These are all very good colts, but not very well behaved. I hope you will grow up to be a gentle and good horse. Just always do your work well. Lift your feet up high and never bite or kick, not even when you're playing." The little colt never forgot what his mother said to him that day. He played in the fields until he was full grown. He became big and strong, with a pretty white star in his forehead, 1 white foot, and a soft, shiny black coat. One day Squire Gordon saw how handsome the young horse, as he was now, had grown, and he decided to buy him. "I'll wait until he's well broken in, though," he said. The horse's master said, "I'll break him in myself, so he won't be hurt or frightened in any way." Slowly the master taught the young horse how to hold a bit in his mouth and to wear a bridle. He fed him oats and talked to him quietly as he put on his saddle. Then he taught him to carry his master and wear a harness, and last of all to pull a little cart. When the man from Squire Gordon's came for him, his master said, "Goodbye. You be a good horse, and always do your best." So the young horse left his first home. His new home was nice too, another big green meadow which he shared with 2 other horses, and they all became very good friends. The first time he carried his master, he remembered what his mother had told him, and so he did exactly as Squire Gordon wanted him to. Mrs. Gordon and their 2 little girls were at the door when Squire Gordon arrived home from his ride. "We couldn't have found a better horse," said Squire Gordon. "What'll we call him?" "He's so beautiful," said Mrs. Gordon, "and he has such a soft, shiny black coat. Why don't we call him Black Beauty?" "What a good idea," said Squire Gordon. "Black Beauty. Yes, that's just right for him." And so the young horse was named. Black Beauty enjoyed many happy years at Squire Gordon's. He loved his master and his mistress and their 2 little girls, and he really enjoyed taking them for rides in their cart. He also loved John Manning the coachman, who drove them when he and one of the other horses pulled the big carriage. One day a new stable boy called Joe Green came to help John. He was just a boy still, but he was very keen to learn how to look after the horses. Not long after Joe started here, Mrs. Gordon suddenly became very sick during the night. John saddled Black Beauty quickly, and off they went to get Dr. White. They had a long way to go, through the village, over the hill, on past the woods and fields. 8 miles altogether, and galloping as fast as Black Beauty could. Dr. White was in bed, but he got up and quickly dressed, mounted Black Beauty, and off he dashed back to Squire Gordon's as fast as the tired horse would take him. John, the coachman, had to walk all the way back home. When the doctor and Black Beauty arrived, Joe took care of the tired horse, but he didn't know the horse should have had a blanket to keep him warm after his long, hard ride, and Joe let him drink far too much cold water as well. In the morning the poor horse was terribly sick. But with the help of the horse doctor, and thanks to a lot of loving care, Beauty soon became well again. Black Beauty's speed and strength had saved Mrs. Gordon, but her doctor said she should really shift to a warmer country. Everyone was so sad when the house was shut up, and Black Beauty and one of the other horses were sent to an estate called Earlshaw Park. At Earlshaw Park, their job was to pull the carriage for their new mistress. They were looked after quite well, but there was one groom who couldn't care less. Late one night, this groom was galloping Black Beauty home from the village over a stony road when one of Beauty's shoes came off. Oh, the stones really hurt the bare foot, but the groom whipped Black Beauty on, and soon the horse stumbled and fell hard on both knees, sending his rider flying over his head. Beauty's knees were badly bruised, and even after he'd been rested for several months, his master still couldn't use him. So Black Beauty was sold to a livery stable. This was when Black Beauty discovered how many different kinds of people there are in the world. He was hired to anyone who had the money to pay for a few hours' drive. Some people drove him very well. Others were cruel, whipping him to make him go up steep hills and never stopping to let him rest. Oh, poor Black Beauty was becoming so worn out and tired, he could hardly do his work. So the owner of the livery stable decided to sell him at the horse fair. Black Beauty met all sorts of horses there, young ones, old ones, sleek and shiny ones, and very shabby ones. There were many kinds of men who had come to buy the horses too. One quite cheerful little man who had a careful look at all the horses came back and bought Black Beauty. His name was Jerry Barker, and he was a London cab driver. When they came to Jerry's home in a little side street, his wife Polly and their children ran out to see the new horse. They all liked Black Beauty, and while Jerry rubbed him down, the children patted him, and Polly fed him some bran mash. Then Beauty was led into a comfortable, clean-smelling stall. Oh, yes, life wasn't so bad after all. So for several years Black Beauty worked as a cab horse. It was hard work, but Jerry was such a kind, thoughtful driver that Black Beauty was quite happy. Jerry used to say to him, "Oh, do your best and leave the rest. It'll all come right some day or night." One New Year's Eve, it was very, very cold and it was snowing. Jerry and Beauty had taken 2 gentlemen to a party. The gentleman made them wait for 2 hours in the icy wind and snow. Jerry caught a bad cold, but when he got home, he took more time than usual rubbing down his horse. The next day, Jerry was in bed sick, and Black Beauty never saw him again, because when Jerry got better, he had to give up his cab and take an easier job. So Black Beauty was sold to a baker. The baker just put so much bread in the cart that Beauty couldn't pull it, and he was sold again, this time to a very cruel wagon owner who was even harder on Beauty than the baker had been. One day, while trying to pull a very heavy load up Ludgate Hill, Beauty fell down and just couldn't get up by himself. He was helped up and led home. It was easy to see that Black Beauty's working days were over, so he was sent off to the horse fair once more. This time he was bought by a farmer, Mr. Thorogood, who could tell that Beauty was a good horse who used to be very handsome. With gentle care, Mr. Thorogood helped him back to health and strength, so that by spring he was almost as handsome as ever. Mr. Thorogood sold Beauty to 3 very nice ladies. When their groom saw him, he said, "That's just like the star that Black Beauty had on his forehead." When the groom looked at him more closely, he saw that it really was Black Beauty, and he was so excited. "Beauty, do you know me? I'm Joe Green, who used to be Squire Gordon's stable boy." Yes, it was the same Joe Green. "Oh, it won't be my fault if you don't have a good life from now on," he said as he patted the horse happily. And so Black Beauty's troubles were over at long last. The ladies promised never to sell him, and with Joe Green to look after him and big green meadows to run in, Black Beauty had nothing to worry about. He had a happy home for the rest of his life. There was once a speedy little taxi that always had to be first. It was green, and it liked to go very fast. It was bright green all over, and it liked to zig-zag in and out of the traffic and bounce and jounce over the potholes in the road. It was a very naughty taxi, because it never took any notice of the traffic rules. When the traffic lights changed from green to red, that didn't stop the speedy little taxi at all.
"I don't give a toot for your old red stoplight,"
said the speedy little taxi. And it whizzed like a green streak right past the stoplight. Went the traffic inspector's whistle.
"I don't give a toot for your traffic inspector's whistle,"
said the speedy little taxi, and it zigged and zagged right around the angry traffic inspector. "Slow," said the sign in big yellow letters, because the street was full of bumps and potholes, which were being fixed by the roadworks men.
"Who gives a toot?"
said the speedy little taxi as he bounced and jounced over the footpath.
"Here I come,"
wailed the fire engine sirens. All the traffic pulled over to the side of the street to let the fire engines whiz by. All, that is, except the speedy little taxi. It whizzed right along with the fire engines. Through the red lights they all went, past the traffic inspector, zigging and zagging and bouncing and jouncing. Oh, it was wonderful, and it was first to get to the fire. That was when the traffic inspector caught up with him. Out jumped the angry traffic inspector. "We'll see about this," he said, and wrote out a whole book of tickets and stuck them on the taxi's windscreen. "Oh, trouble, trouble, trouble," said the taxi's driver. "That's all I've had with this speedy little taxi." Then he had a very good idea. "It's his colour," he thought. "Maybe if I paint the taxi in a nice, quiet, dark red, it might slow him down." So they painted the taxi dark red. When the traffic lights changed from green to red, the nice, quiet, dark red, speedy little taxi whizzed like a dark red streak right past the red stoplight.
"I don't give a toot for your old red stoplight," he said.
Went the traffic inspector's whistle.
"I don't give a nice, quiet, dark red toot for your traffic inspector's whistle."
The taxi laughed, and it zigged and zagged past the traffic inspector. Then it bounced and jounced past the sign that said men working. Wailed the fire engine sirens. All the traffic quietly pulled over to the side of the street, but the speedy little taxi raced right along with the fire engines, and he got to the fire first again. That was when the traffic inspector's car caught up with him. The very angry traffic inspector took out his book of tickets and stuck them on the taxi's windscreen again. "Oh, more trouble," groaned the taxi's driver. "What am I going to do? Maybe this time we ought to try a nice quiet brown paint job," he said. So the speedy little taxi was painted in a nice quiet brown this time. Back to work the taxi went, and when the traffic lights changed from green to red, that speedy little taxi took no notice at all. It just went straight through the red stoplight.
"I don't give a nice, quiet brown toot for your silly old red stoplight," he said.
Went the traffic inspector's whistle.
"And I don't give a toot for your silly old whistle either,"
said the speedy little taxi, and it zigged and zagged round the angry traffic inspector like a brown streak. "Danger," said the sign where the street was full of potholes.
"Who gives a bouncy, jouncy toot?"
said the nice, quiet, brown, speedy little taxi speeding over the bumps. Wailed the fire engine sirens, and once again all the traffic pulled over to the side of the road. All, that is, except that nice, quiet, brown, speedy little taxi. It raced right along with the fire engines, through the red stoplights, past traffic inspectors, zigging and zagging, bouncing, jouncing, and of course it was first at the fire again. This time, though, up came the fire chief's white car. Out stepped the fire chief. "What's going on here?" he asked. "The fire chief is supposed to be the first one to get to a fire, and this speedy little taxi has kept me from being first every time." The poor taxi's driver groaned. Trouble with the traffic department, and now double trouble with the fire department. "I'll get rid of this speedy little taxi," he promised. "You sure will," shouted the fire chief. "I'm tired of coming to my own fires second. You'll get rid of it all right. You'll sell it to me." "Yes, I could use a ziggy-zaggy, bouncy-jouncy, speedy little car like this to get me to fires, and then I'd be first every time." And so he bought the nice, quiet, brown, speedy little taxi from its driver. Of course, this meant another paint job for the speedy little taxi. Now it's a sparkling, dashing white, with Fire Chief painted in neat red letters on the 2 front doors, and it carries a flashing red light on its roof. That speedy little car didn't really like breaking the traffic rules. It was just that he liked to go fast. Now it's a very happy Fire Chief's car, and when it goes past red stoplights and past traffic inspectors and past all the street signs, that's because it's allowed to. Diddle,
Diddle, diddle, dumpling, my son John. He went to bed with his trousers on, one shoe off and the other shoe on. Diddle, diddle, dumpling, my son John. Hickety, my black hen, she lays eggs for gentlemen, sometimes 9 and sometimes 10. Hickety, my black hen. Oh dear, what can the matter be, dear, dear? What can the matter be? Oh dear, what can the matter be? Johnny's so long at the fair. He promised he'd buy me a bunch of blue ribbons. He promised he'd buy me a bunch of blue ribbons. He promised he'd buy me a bunch of blue ribbons to tie up my bonny brown hair. Oh dear, what can the matter be, dear, dear? What can the matter be? Oh dear, what can the matter be? Johnny's so long at the fair. He promised he'd bring me a basket of posies, a garland of lilies, a garland of roses, a pretty straw hat to set off the ribbon to tie up my bonny brown hair. Oh dear, what can the matter be, dear, dear? What can the matter be? Oh dear, what can the matter be? Johnny's so long at the fair. Oh, the grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when they're up, they're up. And when they're down, they're down. And when they're only halfway up, they're neither up nor down. Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout. Down came the rain and washed poor Incy out. Out came the sunshine and dried up all the rain. So Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the spout again. Ride a cock horse to Banbury Cross to see a fine lady ride on a white horse. Rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. She shall have music wherever she goes. Bobby Shafto's gone to see silver buckles on his knee. He'll come back and marry me, bonny Bobby Shafto. Bobby Shafto's bright and fair, combing down his yellow hair. He's my aim forever, mere bonny Bobby Shafto. Bobby Shafto's gone to see silver buckles on his knee. He'll come back and marry me, bonny Bobby Shafto. Yankee Doodle went to town, riding on a pony. He stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Father and I went down to camp along with Captain Goodwin, and there we saw the men and boys as thick as hasty pudding. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. And there was Captain Washington upon a strapping stallion, giving orders to his men. I guess there were 1,000,000. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. He stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. If I were king, dilly dilly, I'd need a queen. Who told me so, dilly dilly, who told me so? Myself, dilly dilly, I told me so. One little, two little, three little Indians, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little Indians, 10 little Indian boys. 10 little, 9 little, 8 little Indians, 7 little, 6 little, 5 little Indians, 4 little, 3 little, 2 little Indians, 1 little Indian boy. Do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man that lives in Drury Lane? No. Yes, we've seen the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yes, we've seen the Muffin Man that lives in Drury Lane. No, oh, do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man that lives in Drury Lane? Oh. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. We'll build it up with iron bars, iron bars, iron bars. Build it up with iron bars, my fair lady. But iron bars will bend and break, bend and break, bend and break. Iron bars will bend and break, my fair lady. Here's a prisoner I have got, I have got, I have got. Here's a prisoner I have got, my fair lady. Then take the key and lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. Take the key and lock him up, my fair lady. Silver and gold will set him free, set him free, set him free. Silver and gold will set him free, is falling down, my fair lady. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to give her poor dog a bone. But when she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none, and so the poor dog had none. She went to the baker's to buy him some bread, but when she came back, the poor dog looked dead, the poor dog looked dead. She went to the joiner's to buy him a coffin, but when she came back, the poor dog was laughing, the poor dog was laughing. She went to the tavern for white wine and red, but when she came back, the dog stood on his head, the little dog stood on his head. Well, the dame made a curtsy, the dog made a bow. The dame said, "Your servant." The dog said, "Bow wow." The dog said, "Bow wow." Woof, woof. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. It followed her to school one day, which was against the rules. It made the children laugh and play, laugh and play, laugh and play. It made the children laugh and play to see a lamb at school. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. This old man, he played one, he played knick-knack on my drum with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played two, he played knick-knack on my shoe with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he played three, he played knick-knack on my knee with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played four, he played knick-knack on my door with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he played five, he played knick-knack on my hive with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he played six, he played knick-knack on my sticks with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played seven, he played knick-knack on my Devon with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played eight, he played knick-knack on my gate with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he played nine, he played knick-knack on my line with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he played 10, he played knick-knack on my hen with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And this old man, he's gone. three little kittens, they lost their mittens and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have lost. What, lost your mittens, you naughty kittens? Then you shall have no pie. Meow, meow, meow. The three little kittens, they found their mittens and they began to cry. Oh, mother dear, see here, our mittens we have found. Put on your mittens, you silly kittens, and you shall have some pie. The three little kittens put on their mittens and soon ate up the pie. Oh, mother dear, we greatly fear our mittens we have soiled. What soiled your mittens, you naughty kittens? And they began to sigh. Meow, meow, meow. The three little kittens, they washed their mittens and hung them out to dry. Oh, mother dear, do you not hear? Our mittens we have washed. What washed your mittens, you good little kittens? I smell a rat close by. Shh, shh. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny spark. Could not see which way to go if you did not twinkle so. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. In the dark blue sky you keep, and often through my curtains peep. For you never shut your eye till the sun is in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Little Miss Muffet, she sat on a tuffet, eating up curds and whey. There came a big spider which sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Ding dong dell, pussy's in the well. Who put her in? Little Tommy Lin. Who put her out? Little Tommy Stout. What a naughty boy was that, to try to drown poor Pussycat, who ne'er did any harm, but killed all the mice in his father's barn. Girls and boys come out to play, the moon does shine as bright as day. Leave your supper and leave your sleep, and come with your playfellows down the street. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran out the clock. The clock struck one, the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. Here we come gathering nuts in May, nuts in May, nuts in May. Here we come gathering nuts in May, so early in the morning. This is the way we wash our clothes, wash our clothes, wash our clothes. This is the way we wash our clothes on a cold and frosty morning. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. And he called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. And every fiddler had a fiddle fine, and a very fine fiddle had he. And tweedledee when the fiddle is three, and so merry we will be. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. Leave them alone and they'll come home, and wagging their tails behind them. Little Bo Peep fell fast asleep and dreamt she heard them bleating. But when she awoke she found it a joke, for they were still a-fleeting. Then up she took her little crook, determined for to find them. She found them indeed, but it made her heart bleed, for they'd left their tails behind them. She heaved a sigh and wiped her eye, and over the hillocks went rambling, and try as she could, as a shepherdess should, to tack again each to its lambkin. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog loved to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon.